Today, we are planning for July. I know we're a little bit into July already. I'm definitely behind. That being said, I still need to plan for the rest of the month. It's probably gonna creep into the first couple of weeks of August as well. Things have been crazy. It's summer, you know, life is different. I've been traveling a little bit, and even though I'm behind, I still need to take the time to get my life together so I don't fall further behind. So the plan for today is to update my Notion. That's where I keep all of my ideas for YouTube and my content calendar. And then I also like to update like a handwritten, you know, pen and paper calendar as well, where I put all of my YouTube scheduling. So when I need to film things, when I need to edit, and when I need to post it. And then we are going to talk about my June goals. And if I, do a little quick recap, see if I met those goals. We're gonna talk about what my goals are for July. And I will also briefly discuss all of the books that I read in June. If you're new to the channel, hello, my name is Grace. I'm a Canadian currently living in Dublin, Ireland. I like to make lots of videos about cozy, relatable sort of living, navigating life in your 30s, all of that kind of stuff. Normally, I'm in my very small apartment, but right now I am house sitting somewhere and I'm in the most beautiful home. So I'm gonna shoot a little bit of content while I'm here as well, just to kind of show you the space and take advantage of this beautiful location. Don't worry if you like to see my small little flat. I'm gonna be back there soon. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is get into Notion. What is Notion? It's just like a organizational platform. Anyways, I use Notion to help organize all of my content. This is my content calendar. The way that I have it set up is that I have my video concept and then I have the date that I'm planning on posting it. So you can see here just my brainstorming for ideas. So obviously today's video is Plan With Me for July. And then you may have noticed, if you're not new here, if you're a returning viewer, that I cut my hair. I have a whole video coming up on that, why I cut my hair, and then I have some clips of like actually getting my hair cut, that kind of thing. So that'll be coming soon, hopefully this weekend or early next week. And then I am doing like just a regular vlog. It's called my summer diaries. So this one's gonna be, it's here where I'm house sitting. I have an apartment reset video that I wanna do. Introvert Diaries, Solo Day in Dublin, best books that I've read so far in 2025. Summer Diaries again, so that's gonna be when I'm back in the flat, and that's gonna be more, a solo night in. And then I've also been working at the wine bar lately, so I might try to get some clips of that. And then I'm going to Canada in the first couple of weeks of August, and I thought it would be fun to do a bit of filming there. So I wanna do like a summer vlog in Canada where I'm gonna be staying. We're gonna be in Ottawa this time, so in Ontario. Then I also thought it would be fun to do kind of help my mom with some deep cleaning and decluttering and that kind of thing and film that process. So the way that I have this set up is I have the title or the working titles for the YouTube video. And then I kind of put in here the plan so that whenever I sit down to finally film, I can come back and see the plan that I have. So there's some questions that I try to answer. Who am I talking to? What are they going through? What are the main takeaways from this video? What's the best way that I can execute this video? So that means what kind of style? Is it sit down video like this, or is it a vlog? Is this video for current subscribers, people who have never seen me before, or both? And then I put in, some ideas for the thumbnail and the title text, and then just a general video outline. It's really helpful if I actually do sit down and plan all this stuff out so that whenever it comes to me recording a video, I've got something to work off of, because sometimes it's really tricky. Obviously, I love making YouTube videos, but it can be quite challenging to actually sit down and do it because you don't always feel like doing it in the moment. Depending on just how you're feeling that day, it can be a bit of a challenge to actually get the video filmed. So if you have a plan before filming, it makes life so much easier. So that's what I'm trying to do here. So yeah, that's my plan. And then I've also wanted to get into more short form content. And instead of actually putting visual pages like I have for my YouTube content, I've just done, a short form content brainstorming idea. So that's what I've been doing there. If you want to see my short form content, I do post some of it here on YouTube, but then I'm also more active on TikTok and Instagram. And my handle for that is Grace Audrey Davis. That's it. So yeah, I like to do some fun stuff over there. It's a little bit like, it is similar to what I do on YouTube, but the thing with short form content is that there's oftentimes, you know, more room for humor and relatability, some like silly sort of videos. So I do like to have fun with that. So I've done this on Notion. I've got something that I can refer back to on the actual day that I'm filming. Sometimes though, whenever it's just in a list like this, even though I have the dates beside it, it can be hard for me to really understand when things are happening. I like to also have a physical calendar to see when I have to do things. So I have this little monthly calendar, and the cool thing with this is you just fill in the dates yourself. So it's not set up, you know, as like a 12-month year 2025 calendar, which is good because those things always overwhelm me because I'm not good at keeping up with them, and then I feel guilty with the empty pages and whatever else. So for this, you can just fill in the dates yourself. As you can see here, I've already filled this in because, again, the thing with YouTube, it's not so simple as like, okay, I'm going to make this video and that's it. You have to plan out your schedule with when you're going to film the video, and then what days are you going to edit it on, and then when are you going to actually post it, because posting it is a whole process in and of itself as well. Creating the thumbnail and then putting in the timestamps and the YouTube description, commenting on it, all those things, like that's a whole separate day. So on this pen and paper calendar, what I like to do is kind of visually see, okay, so on this day, I'm going to be filming this video. Next day, I'm actually going to be editing the video that I filmed last week, for example. I've been very ambitious with what I'm going to do for the rest of July. And it's because I've missed a couple weeks actually here on YouTube. I hate when I miss the weeks, but I'm trying to be gentle with myself because, again, it's summer, we're busy, different things are happening. We've been house sitting, I've been working at the wine bar, we were traveling. So anyways, I just want to get back on it though for you guys and get back to, you know, some regular scheduled programming. So I have a very ambitious plan for the rest of the month. I'm hopeful that I can do it. And then what my big goal is to actually get ahead for August, because like I said, I'm going to be in Canada for a couple of weeks. So that's why the rest of July is so busy, because I need to film the videos that I want to post while I'm away. And ideally, I want them all edited and ready to go so I don't have to do that while I'm in Canada. So yeah, that is my pen and paper calendar. Okay, now we're going to quickly recap the goals that I made for June. So for personal goals, I had read 4 books. I think I read 5, so that's good. Go on a friend date once a week. I think I did that. That was really great. It's been fun meeting up with friends for like coffee dates. Was it that month that I went to like this cool author reading with a friend? And then we have book club, of course. And since we've been house sitting, we had a couple people over here to visit. So I've been good at prioritizing hanging out with friends at least once a week. Go on a date with Steve once a week. We've done that. Like I said, we normally like to go for coffee. That's kind of like what we like to do. Coffee dates. We also like to go to the cinema. We didn't go to the cinema pretty much at all in June, just with the way things have worked with how busy we've been. But we went to Birmingham together, so that was really fun to see friends and family. And then we also went to Paris. So I think that should count as like a couple of dates maybe. Listen to 1 nonfiction book. Yes, I did that. I listened to Emilie Pine's Notes to Self. Very good. I'll tell you about that later. Health and fitness. Go to a box fit class. I did not end up doing that, and I'll tell you why. Box fit is on Monday evenings, and I've started working at the wine bar on Monday evenings. I'm working at the wine bar right now on Sundays and Mondays. I'll be doing that for the summer for sure. So box fit's not going to happen for me this summer, unfortunately, but that's okay. Pump once a week. I did that. I think I did that in June. Sometimes I went twice, which ended up being a little too much. Reformer Pilates once a week. I think I did that. I maybe missed 1 week, but did I? No, I think I went every week. 3 workouts a week in total, give or take. I think I did that. And take creatine regularly. I've been pretty good about that. Sometimes I forget because you're supposed to take it daily, you know, especially when we were traveling. I wasn't taking it, but when I've been at home, I have been. Book club. Finished book club book Yes, that was fundamentally, I did finish that. Choose wine of the month and update Eventbrite with details. I did do that. I told you guys about that last time. So I host a book club, just in case you didn't know, and we had launched the book club through a wine bar. So we definitely have people that are very interested in wine. And what I wanted to do was start picking a wine of the month that people could buy to bring home with them to enjoy alongside their book for the following month. And I was trying to pair it up with whatever the theme was. So in June, we were reading a book that was nominated for the Women's Prize for Fiction. Our genre was the Women's Prize for Fiction. So I wanted to pick a female winemaker. And then in July, our theme is beach read. So I wanted something that would be like nice for a beach read. So I ended up picking this really beautiful rosé from an Austrian winemaker named Judith Beck. It's called Pink by Judith Beck. Very delicious. I think it's going to go very well with a beach read. It was a little bit of work, to be honest, arranging something like this. And we only sold like 4 or 5 bottles of the wine. So what I'm going to do is give it 3 months to see, if this is something that people are interested in. And if it picks up at all, and if it doesn't, then I'll probably just like knock it on the head, because the amount of work that goes in, it kind of has to be like, I'm totally happy to do it as long as there's enough interest in it from people to do it. If it's only a couple of people, they can just ask me personally and I'll tell them what they should buy, from the wine bar. So anyways, it looked really cool. I was happy with how it all turned out. And you do need to give these things a chance to see if it's going to work out or not. So I'm going to give it another 2 months and then we'll see if I have to keep doing it or not. 2 reels and 2 carousel posts. Yes, I did that. Story series. What are you reading this week? Yes. Financial, earn €500 extra. I did do that. It's funny. You got to put stuff like that out there sometimes, because a couple of days after I did this June plan with me, I got an opportunity, like a freelance opportunity. And it was for, how much was it in the end? I think I made just over €500 for it. So that was great. And then the other thing, actually, since I made the June plan with me, was, again, the wine bar. They reached out to me because they wanted to start opening 7 days a week. So now I'm working 2 nights there every week. So that's a good little, like, reliable monthly boost of income as well. So that happened. Contact electric company to get better rates. Hasn't happened yet. I need to do that still. YouTube and career. Upload 4 long form videos. I think I did do that. It's been July that I've been slacking. We're going to say yes. Try new thumbnail, title combinations. Yeah, I did experiment with that a little bit. I don't know if it worked, but I tried. Begin a short form signature series. I'm still working on that. In the last week, I have started attacking short form content more. Like I said, more so on TikTok and Instagram. And I do have some ideas for some series as well. So that is going to implement, but it hasn't actually happened yet. So I'm not going to cross that off. Get ahead 1 week. I didn't do that. It's so hard for me to get ahead 1 week. And I really, really would like to. It's just that life has been busy. One day I'm going to get there. Let's talk about my July goals. So for personal, a lot of these are going to stay the same. I'm happy with how my goals looked the last time, but I'm going to just update a few of them. So for personal, again, I have read 4 books. It's pretty attainable for me to read a book a week. I should be able to do that. Go on a friend date once a week again. I think that's going to be possible. It might be, I'm just going to be so busy with work, but I'm going to try. Go on a date with Steve once a week. Yep, no bother. Spend more time outside. So that's one of my new ones. And it's just, again, while it's summer, I want to try to embrace the summer as much as I can. We do get a lot of rain in Ireland, but for example, like the days that are sunny, just get outside and be outside as much as possible. So we're having like a bit of a sunny spell, which is really nice because while we're house sitting, we actually have a backyard. So I plan on spending some time like just chilling outside. For health and fitness, I'm pivoting a little bit, just again with how busy I'm going to be. I've seen something on TikTok. Have you guys heard about Pilates with Izzy? It's some kind of, I think she's Australian. She's a Pilates instructor and she does these different challenges. Like she might have a 30-day challenge or 20-day challenge or whatever. And people talk about it that it's like you get amazing results, but it's pretty hard. I want to check that out. So again, while I'm here house sitting and we've got extra space to actually work out from home, I'm going to experiment with that and see how that goes. 3 workouts a week in total. So again, that can be anything. That can be doing this Pilates with Izzy challenge. That can be going to a pump class or going to a reformer Pilates class or anything like that. Again, take creatine regularly. And then this is the, new random one for July, is to just swim in the sea at some point. Obviously, we do have access to the sea here in Dublin. It's a little bit of a trek for me to get there. But while the weather's nice, I just want to take that opportunity and make sure I actually get to the beach at some point this summer. Book club, it's the same as last time. So very straightforward. Finish the book club book. This month we're reading Bonjour Tristesse by Francois, what's her name? Sagan, I think. Anyways, really cool. It's only a teeny tiny book, so it's not going to take long to read. I'm already halfway through. And it's about like a 16 or 17-year-old girl who's in the south of France for the summer with her dad, and her dad is getting with this woman. They're getting married and it's going to change her lifestyle. Anyways, the book was written, I think, back in the 50s, and the author was actually 18 when she wrote the book. And it was very controversial at the time, just because the topics that she was discussing. I think they actually removed, some intimate scenes because they thought it was inappropriate that an 18-year-old wrote about these, intimate moments. Anyways, it's a classic and I'm happy to read it. Again, I have choose a wine of the month. I think what I'm going to pick for the wine of the month for people to bring home is going to be a chilled red wine. I do have something in mind already. It's like a French wine, but I'm going to check at the wine bar to see if there's anything else. Post 2 reels and 2 carousel posts. I've been a little bit behind on posting for the book club. I actually need to film some content today, so we'll see if I can get on that. And then a story series. What are you reading this weekend? That's fun. So the story series, that's essentially whenever I just put up on the book club Instagram, what were you reading this weekend, or what are you reading this weekend? And then people respond. And then what I do is, take a screenshot of the book and write a little, blurb or teaser of what the book is about. And it's really nice for book recommendations. I have saved 200 euros to put towards a new phone. I have the iPhone 14 Pro, and let me tell you, it works hard just with what I do. I'm a social media manager, and obviously I create a lot of content. And so my phone gets used a lot, and it's very, very important. And I've just noticed that the battery is starting to go. I'm having lots of storage issues as well. I'm going to need to buy a new phone soon. So I just want to start saving some money to put towards that. And then again, I have that very annoying contact the electric company to get better rates. YouTube and career. Upload 4 long form videos. So essentially, because I'm already behind for July, I need to double up some weeks. I think I'm going to make it. Begin a short form signature series. As I was saying, I do have some ideas for that. That's going to more so live on TikTok and Instagram. So if you want to follow along, you can check it out there. I've been trying to push my short form presence as well on TikTok and Instagram. So I want to upload to TikTok at least once a day. And I saw a really good tip from someone. They were saying that they've created this rule for themselves so that every time they open TikTok, before they're allowed to scroll, they have to post a video. So I'm going to see if I can implement that rule. It might just be that I never open TikTok, to be honest, but if I do, I need to post a video. So we're gonna try that out and see how much I can grow on that platform. Upload to Instagram 4 times a week. I think that should be manageable enough. A lot of some of the content that I post on TikTok can cross over to Instagram, so that'll make it easy. And then there's some content, that's just a lot more Instagram focused, and we'll work on that. And then the other thing that I want to do is get ahead for my trip to Canada. So I essentially need to pre-film and edit and schedule the 2 videos that will be posted while I'm in Canada. Because I'll be there for 2 weeks. So 2 weekends essentially, and that's whenever the videos would be getting posted. So that's why the next couple of weeks are gonna be really busy. We're going in just under 4 weeks. So yeah, for the next 3.5 weeks, I'm gonna be making a lot of content. That's the plan anyways. I finished 5 books in June. One of them was an audiobook that I had started listening to ages before that, but I finished it in June, so it's down there. So the first book that I read was Confessions by Catherine Airey. This book, actually, it was interesting because I got to hear this author speak briefly, when she was on this author panel. The theme of the panel was writing childhood, which I thought was, really interesting, a lovely topic. She's very young, this author. She's like a good bit younger than I am even. So it was a huge success. Like her debut novel has done well, and it's a big deal to write a book in general. This book specifically is supposed to be like cross-generational. So it's following women in this one family starting off in like during 9/11. So in the 2000s. And then we're kind of go back in time to her aunt and mother's generation. And then we flip forward in time to when she's the mother and she has a daughter. And anyways, the book is all told from different perspectives. And I do like that as a concept in general. I started off enjoying the book, and then in the end, I found it really hard to get through. It felt a way longer than it had to be. And I just wasn't that into the style of writing. It felt very repetitive. Anyways, I don't like to be critical of books. Like I said, I think it's amazing that anyone's ever, that people can write a book, and it was a success in what she did in a lot of ways, but I wouldn't recommend it personally. It wasn't for me. So the next book was Pain and Prejudice by Gabrielle Jackson. That was an audiobook that I listened to, nonfiction. That was really good. So this is really interesting. This is about women's health, specifically women that are dealing with chronic pain. There's a history of autoimmune disorders in my family, endometriosis, rheumatoid arthritis, all sorts of things. My sister is on the severe end of the spectrum for a lot of autoimmune disorders, but my whole family struggles with it. That's why we're all like gluten-free and, because we're celiac. And anyways, really good book. If you are a woman, even if you're not a woman, I recommend listening to it. So especially if you struggle with chronic pain yourself, it can be it's eye-opening to see what other people are dealing with, and then just also hearing about, the different statistics and studies and different things out there, or more so the lack thereof that's out there for women's health, that in general things are studied. We study men's health way more than we study women's health. Yeah, it was really good. I felt very seen, and the only thing is you feel really angry a lot of the time, whatever you're reading or when you're listening to this book. So just be a little bit aware of that. But I listened to it on Spotify because, whenever you have the premium Spotify account, you get a certain amount of hours free for audiobooks. And I do like listening to nonfiction, and I thought the narrator was good. So yes, that is a book I do recommend for the certain kind of person, you have to be interested in that topic. The next book I read was The Vegetarian by Han Kang. She won the Nobel Prize for Fiction last year. She's South Korean, first South Korean to ever win the Nobel Prize. The Vegetarian is just a short little book, and I thought it was amazing. It's told from 3 different perspectives. The book is like split into 3 sections, and it's interesting because it's about this woman in South Korea who has a dream and she becomes a vegetarian, right? Like that's at the most simple end of the spectrum, the premise of the book. It's very controversial. Her becoming a vegetarian is very controversial because eating meat is like a huge part of South Korean customs. Her family just like can't believe it. They're freaking out, super concerned. But the first section is actually from her husband's perspective, and then we get into another family member's perspective, and then another family member's perspective. It's interesting. We don't actually see things from her perspective really at all. Sometimes we get glimpses of her dream actually, so we're in her head with that. But yeah, some people think that it's a little bit weird or couldn't get into it. Like I have heard some criticisms that some people that didn't finish the book. For me, I was always going to finish that book. Like I devoured it. It's short. I thought the writing was amazing. If you're the kind of person that likes a very clear resolve at the end of the novel, it might not be for you because like you're not going to be satisfied with that. But yeah, I thought it was really good, and I'm looking forward to reading more books by her. I think it's the first South Korean novel I've read, actually, and I really liked it. After that, I listened to another audiobook called Notes to Self by Emilie Pine. I have read another book from her that was fiction called Ruth and Penn, and I really enjoyed that. But Notes to Self is memoirs, essentially. So it's like each section, I think there might be 5 or 6 different sections. And she's discussing, a monumental thing that happened in her life. And it's not chronological. Like we're not going from childhood to when she's an adult. We're looking at different stages, kind of going back and forth. Some trigger warnings for sure for like fertility issues and disordered eating. and alcoholism. I mean, she's dealing with a lot of different things. She is an Irish author. I think she's an educator. I think she works at the university. But the book is actually narrated by her, and I really enjoyed listening to her accent. I thought she had a very sweet accent. It reminded me of Sarah Polley's book, Run Towards the Danger, in the sense that it's memoirs, but it's more so like personal essays. Maybe that's what memoirs are, but like, you know, they're taking one topic, essentially diving into the topic, let's say, of eating disorders or alcoholism or fertility, and then getting into specific examples of, you know, how she's gone through a journey within that topic. Anyways, I've recommended it to a few people and they've also enjoyed it. It's only short too. I think the audiobook was only it was between 5 to 6 hours. Very short. Well worth it. After that, I read, and also my book club read, Fundamentally by, I don't know how to pronounce this name correctly, but Nussaibah Younis. It's about an English woman who works for the United Nations and she's going to Iraq to de-radicalize ISIS brides. That's the concept. And I thought the book was good. The writing is actually very light and kind of like dark humor, very much like, what is the word whenever you're kind of like, self-deprecating? You know, the main character is quite self-deprecating. And it's interesting because that main character grew up Muslim, but then kind of like turned away from being Muslim. But then now she's a professor at a university and wrote this paper on this idea, had this thesis of de-radicalizing ISIS brides. And then the United Nations approached her and now suddenly she's in Iraq. So it's like this whole thing. I did enjoy the book. It's interesting because in general, the girls at the book club, everyone did really seem to enjoy the book. I'll be honest, I was a little bit frustrated because a lot of it seemed very far-fetched and then kind of like everything was just kind of finished up a little too tidy. And I just thought that it wasn't, maybe I didn't think it was serious enough. I do like that kind of humor writing, but I didn't feel like enough serious things happened considering we were discussing such a serious topic. So at the end of the day, I also like to think about like, would I recommend this book? Who would I recommend the book to? I don't know who I would recommend that book to or if I'd really recommend it to many people in general. Again, it's not a criticism. If you enjoyed the book, I totally get it. And I did enjoy it to a certain degree, but it's not one that I'm rushing to recommend. I was quite dissatisfied with how everything kind of turned out in the end. I don't want to say any more because I don't want to ruin the book in case you are reading it, but yeah. That's what I read in June. The book that I enjoyed the most, the two books that I enjoyed the most would be The Vegetarian and Notes to Self, I'd say. Those are the best books that I read in June. We got there in the end. Let me know in the comments, do you do anything like this? Do you like to reset monthly? Maybe you do it weekly, maybe you do it quarterly or yearly. I know for me, just with the kind of work that I do, because I'm self-employed and then because I'm doing this content creation thing as well, I do need something to kind of keep me on track. I am gentle with myself with my scheduling though, because sometimes it doesn't work out for me to do the things that I say I'm going to do on each day. To be honest, that's often the case. Just with my schedule, it's weird. It's a weird schedule. And because I work with clients as well, I have to be able to adapt as time goes on. But yeah, I'm curious, how do you keep yourself organized? Do you just do it in your head? Do you like to use pen and paper, or do you use, something like Notion or your notes app or just your calendar? If you have any good tips for stuff like this, I'm always very interested because yeah, I'm not the best when it comes to calendars. Let me know in the comments what you read in June and what your favorite books were, because I'm always looking for recommendations. My TBR, to be honest, is huge right now. I have so many books on my shelf that I want to read, but I'd still like to know. I still want to know more. So yeah, let me know if you read anything good in June. Stay tuned for way more content coming your way. Like I said, I've got a video about my haircut. I know that seems like very niche and like so specific. I figured why not? So that's going to be coming soon. And then I also have some more of like fun, cozy home vlogs and all that kind of regular content as well coming your way. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to hit the like button. It always helps me out in the YouTube algorithm. And also if you would like to see more, I would love if you'd subscribe. As always, thank you so much for being here and I hope to see you soon.